Enlisted, Clan Wars. It's already an action-packed game, but when the rosters of both teams are filled with some of the best players of the game, it gets so much more intense. Two of Enlisted's best clans, U45N and RGD, played a best of 5 battles to see which clan would prevail. There were some basic rules: conquest only, no tanks and planes, no flame, and no annoying explosives such as AP mines, impact grenades, and noob tubes. I closely examined these battles using Enlisted's replay system to see what sort of tips and tricks each team used, and even spoke to key members of each clan afterwards to gather the inside scoop. I got the inspiration to do this from MajorMcDonald's excellent video on U45N versus EVA. If you haven't already, I would highly suggest checking out his video on that. My name is Slacker, and this is the analysis of U45N versus RGD 2024. If you enjoy this video or learn something that you can take into your battles, then please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. The battle begins and everyone is off to the races. Some players rush to set up rally points while others push hard on the objective. U45N players Merc66 and Zumbrum skirmished against RGD's Krivoy and Tikachenko for control of the middle capture zone, B. Ultimately, U45N are the first to capture A and B, and were also able to build a rally in between them. Thanks to the player Fishy Thing, U45N was also able to put heavy pressure in the middle of the map, as they were able to prevent pushes as well as hunt rallies and APCs. This advantage didn't last long though, as RGD captured C and used this cleverly placed universal carrier as a launch point to capture A, as well as for flanking attacks. RGD's head tactician Uberwaffle highlighted this as an important part of their strategy. RGD's spawns in Le Bre gave fewer sightlines than U45N's, and APCs could either be deployed more efficiently or hidden easier. Between this and having members running a Japanese soldier lineup bringing Type 97 AT rifles, RGD played a game of leveraging advantages and being flexible to disadvantages. Chatting with U45N's leader Scar, a lot of strategy was placed on players' ability to wipe other squads. Weapons such as the American T-20 and Japanese Type A automatic have incredible amounts of firepower, and have enough firepower to kill a whole squad with a single magazine. However, these battles were known for server-side lag being a hindrance for both teams. Fortunately, this has since been addressed by the game devs. Once RGD had captured both A and C, they used their positions to flank U45N on both sides, pushing to hunt rallies and APCs to great effect. This placed them at a small score advantage early. The middle of the battle saw U45N also hide a universal carrier on the side of the map over by C. Aside from this, all the capture points were held and lost by each team at least once. Nearing the end of the battle, Merc66 was able to help U45N equalize on their ticket count by doing a superb job holding RGD off of B. However, he made a gamble. Using his remaining soldier and engineer, he spent precious seconds trying to build a rally in between A and B to help bring reinforcements to the fight faster in the critical remaining moment of the battle. This did not pay off, as RGD was able to rush past him and reclaim B for the final time, and they no longer had the firepower to hold them off. And let's be clear here, Merc66 would mop the floor with me, but I think this was a split-second decision that cost U45N the match. Whether he was instructed to do this or made this choice himself, I cannot say for certain. RGD had claimed their first victory. U45 began by only sending a single squad to A and sent everyone else to push B. RGD sent about half to C and pushed beyond, while the other half would contest B. What they didn't expect was a clever tactic by U45N. Scar spawned with a German machine gunner squad and built an MG131 on the bunker on the B side of U45N's spawns. From here, he would rotate between it and the existing machine gun on the bunker, cycling them as they would overheat. In my conversation with Uberwaffle and GTFO, this was probably the U45N tactic amongst all of the battles that surprised Uberwaffle the most. As a result of this, U45N was able to secure B and place many obstructions on RGD's entrances of the capture point. Because of this, RGD responded by putting most of their efforts to push A from C, while sending some forces to pressure B. They were successful in capturing A, and they even tried to hide and aggressively push Universal Carrier to easily defend it, though this was a failed tactic. In response to this, Scar himself pushed to C from the middle of the map to hunt for RGD's rallies and to cut off their access to A. RGD's Krivoy was able to heavily contest B from U45N and eventually capture it. From this point on, RGD had established a firm grasp on the middle of the map. Even though B had been captured back and forth a few more times, RGD was able to hold superior map control. They had a slight ticketed advantage from the middle of the battle, all the way until the end. The score is now 2-0 for RGD. Both teams captured their easy points, but U45N started with the upper hand. Fishy Thing was the first player on B. Not only did he hold off RGD, but he was able to dispose another optimistic RGD Universal Carrier, as well as a nearby rally point. In the meantime, RGD was able to control the center of the battlefield again, but this comes with a caveat on El Har. There are two very open streets that cut off the center of the map from B and C. I mentioned the map and spawn advantage that RGD had in the first battle. Scar believed that while RGD had map advantage on Le Bre as well as the Colville farm, U45N certainly had the advantage here, and I wholeheartedly agree. GTFO and other members of RGD did continue to push B, but they weren't finding success. U45N was able to whittle away a huge chunk of RGD's tickets throughout the first half of the battle due to this advantage, but it wouldn't last forever. RGD had half of U45N's remaining tickets, but they adapted their strategy and eventually loosened C from U45N's vice grip. Brute force from Krivoy and GTFO was the main element to this success, but RGD also had some flanking rallies at the very edge of the map, reflecting similar use of their Universal Carrier back in Le Bre. With C captured, RGD refocused their sights on B. They were able to eventually capture it as well, but not without giving U45N some ground. Not only had they recaptured C, they took control of the center of the map. Scar was able to push and do some rally and APC hunting, but it wasn't enough for RGD to lose control of B. In this short period of time, RGD had done the impossible, and they evened the score. In the final minute of the battle, RGD's The Red Baron was able to build this sneaky rally point just outside of B. It was very similar to Merc 66's attempted tactic on Le Bre, but here it succeeded. Even though it was destroyed right after he respawned, he was able to use it to reach B for one final skirmish. Each team is almost out of tickets. It's a duel of fates, as the Red Baron, Uberwaffle, and Krivoy face off against Merc 66, Zumbrum, and U45NF. It's a close fight, but they are able to stay alive long enough to drain their last remaining tickets from U45N. In this battle, RGD had done the impossible and secured their third and final victory to defeat U45N. While there were some rules outside of regular gameplay that the clans followed in these battles, there are certainly some key takeaways that you can use to turn the tides of battle in your favor. First off, rally points are being built. Lots of them. If you can save yourself as well as your teammates time reaching the battle, you will reduce dead time in the battle where you aren't playing an objective, eliminating enemy soldiers, or creating headaches for the enemy team. Another method of reducing this dead time is tactful use of your soldiers in your squad. Hiding them around a corner close to the battle allows for fast re-engagement of the enemy, while keeping your soldiers alive and in the fight for longer. Players spent any opportunity they could to flank the opposing team to hunt their rallies and APCs. Reducing your dead time in a battle is important, but it's just as useful to increase the dead time of your enemies. Doing so as your team is contesting a zone means dead teammates will return faster than the enemy, shifting control to you and your friends. Want to do the most damage control? Leave a mine on your rally point. If your enemy is going to shoot your rally point, an anti-tank mine will create a huge explosion, deleting any enemies nearby. If you have secured a position and have an engineer, building obstructions on the enemy's side of it will help you hold the point. Use sandbags to physically block windows, barbed wire to inhibit corridors, and check hedgehogs to obstruct bot pathing in doorways. One of the best ways to ensure a successful flank is using a sneakily placed APC. Unlike rally points, they create no noise, and if map geometry is used correctly, they can be much harder to find. If you're going to build an aggressive rally point, ensure that it isn't at the cost of the position you're trying to hold, and that it will last long enough for at least a single spawn. And finally, use existing assets on the battlefield to your advantage. Static machine guns can be a powerful suppressive tool, especially in a defensive position. In my conversations with the leaders of both U45N and RGD after the results of the Clan War, we discussed the future of clans and clan wars within the Enlisted community. We know that custom game server support will be improved for Clan Wars, and since then the Tigers of Burma update as well as future updates may introduce other changes and additions that further shift the meta. But what did both U45N and RGD want to see more of? They want Clan Wars to be a larger part of the Enlisted game, and I do too. From what I've seen, there's a lot of contention between the more casual players of Enlisted and the competitive scene. The competitive community is currently small and niche, but I believe that largely comes from a lack of support in the current version of the game. The only reason I ever learned about it when I first started playing the game was watching MajorMcDonald's video, and even meeting some of the members within the main Enlisted Discord. We already know the developers are adding clan features to the game in some way. Will it just be an official clan tag? Will it include clan rewards? We don't know for certain yet, but Uberwaffle from RGD believes small additions like this, as well as a global chat feature within the menu, would be huge for building the competitive community Enlisted. Scar believes the community can also be grown by the competitive community itself, through promotion of future clan wars and other events. I agree with both of these, but I'd also love to see the support for live coverage of Clan Wars battles. Think of any other competitive game, esports or otherwise, and consider how that would look in a game with the sandbox like Enlisted's. Engagement, sponsorships, rewards, these could all bring the spotlight on one of the many great parts of Enlisted. The most we can currently do is what happened with this Clan War. There was some minor promotion by Scar within Reddit and Discord. And there was a watch party in the Enlisted Clan Hub Discord to watch U45N Snake Style's stream of his perspective on Twitch. And finally, there's me making a video on it. Recently, SJ hosted a tournament called Lords of Le Bre, which had some unique rules and a prize pool of his own money. This also brought the spotlight to competitive play, and I hope to see more clans enter in his future tournaments. What does all of this mean? It ultimately comes down to you, the player, to decide with his time and possibly money what the developers support or not. Every additional video viewer, forum poster, and even players participating in tournaments shows Darkflow what the player base wants, and we all win with competitive game support. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you want to be notified of my future videos and projects, then please consider liking this video and subscribing and turning on the notification bell. I'll catch you all next time.